Fighting Gentleman here once again. This video's been long overdue, so let's just get straight to it. A few weeks ago, I encountered someone by the name of the Fury 92 Returns on the comments section of my Tekken Tag 2 guide overview, and he basically starts bitching about how strategy guides are bad and the fact that nowadays social media makes it so that accessing knowledge about the game is what kills the fighting game community. And we have these different types of players that make it so, and then he's trying to compare me to being those type of players that doesn't try to get better outside of with self-experience. Now, this isn't a video directly about him, but I'm just going to overview some of the comments he says. The first comment he says is, "Who the fuck needs a strategy guide for fighting game? Just play and figure it out." Now, I'm not going to read my responses because that's not important. Then he's like, "Your username is a joke. If you believe that, so shut up and read. Self-experience is totally different from all those factors. The fact that people use guides and video tutorials to help them get better is complete bullshit. I made a combo and posted online, so everyone sees it and copies the video I posted. That's what takes away from the experience itself. Now, with social networks, people just take the easy way out of learning. 10 years ago, it was only through word of mouth and imagination." Okay, first of all, you're just pretty much insulting me needlessly, so I don't know what the fuck is the point of that. I mean, what I basically said is that strategy guides, video tutorials, and self-experience are pretty much the same thing, so why is this even up for discussion? Secondly, you talk about how it's bullshit that people nowadays, they just can watch guides and video tutorials. Well, think about it, man. This type of public knowledge has always pretty much been there. It's just that because of the internet, it's easier to get access of. Think about it. Why do you think Japanese players up to this point in time in fighting game history have pretty much run the bracket, have pretty much been the better ones out of them all? It's not because, oh well, the games get released there first before the rest of the world. No, it's because they would release special types of guides that are pretty much all in kanji that you can't get anywhere else outside of that country, and that is publicly accessible. It's public knowledge for them to get this sort of thing. I think Street Fighter 2 had what is known as a master guide that was released in Japan only. So it's not and not only that, we're talking about games that are being made by the Japanese. And the mindset of Japanese are mainly going to be understood by more Japanese players. Same as if an American game were made. I think Americans would probably have a better mindset with it. Of course, you can't always be right, because look at StarCraft. And the Koreans are really good at that. It's all of whoever wants to get good at it. It's not because the fucking public knowledge is just there now. And then how are you mad that someone copies your combo that you post online? You do realize that most of the internet is just a public forum that is accessible by most people. You do realize that, right? So for you to sit there and bitch about what is inevitable and imminent makes no fucking sense. 10 years ago, it was only through word of mouth and imagination. Yeah, because 10 years ago, this type of technology wasn't really accessible. To me, that's an elitist mentality. And this isn't just a personal attack on him. It's the type of people that he represents. The type of people that have this sense of self-entitlement that, oh, if you're one of these new type of fighting game players, that you're not shit, and your self-experience is so much better, and just because you won, it means nothing because you didn't come up like we did. Well, guess what? Things like the way you were in your time are no longer. Get used to it. And if self-experience is so much better, fucking prove it. I've never heard of anyone by the name of the Fury 92 Returns. It sounds like just another troll attempt, because this pretty much went on and on and on. Hell, I'll post the link to the description. Check the comments for yourself. But it really gets tiring to see this type of elitist mentality. I get this from Capcom fanboys that criticize everything that isn't Capcom and think that their company is infallible, and especially in terms of the development of fighting games. No, they fucked up plenty times. The Street Fighter EX games, the early Marvel games, and of course the latest debacle, Cross Tekken. You know, a game that pretty much tried to be something else, while at the same time not knowing what it really wanted to be. It tried to be Street Fighter 4. It tried to be Street Fighter 2. It tried to be Tekken. It tried to be Marvel superheroes. Well, at the same time, it had no identity, and you keep using the same game engine, and you keep lying to us to try and make it seem like, oh, it's not, and it is. We can see that for ourselves. It's a running joke for Morrigan from Darkstalkers to have the same character sprite all the way up into MVC3. It's in pure irony that she's also one of the more annoying and good characters now in UMVC3. So I guess things kind of balanced out. I think Capcom took that in consideration. To sit there and act as if you're so much better than everyone else doesn't make you or any of the rest of the fighting community look any better. It just shows how and why fighting games nowadays, the type of fighting games that are mainstream, are never going to be games like this. They're not going to be taken seriously. First-person shooters are mainstream because they're easily accessible. Pick up and play controls, and plus they keep fucking making them because people keep fucking buying them. With fighting games, however, I think that regardless of how you decide to get better, it takes time, and sometimes you do kind of need a video tutorial. I've taken a look at and even if I know how to play those characters, you never know. You may be surprised. Learning from others is also part of the experience. Now, for the people that, I understand what you're trying to say, man, that, yeah, a lot of people just pick top tier characters, and that is true. It is a little annoying to see that Yun and Yang were pretty much picked predominantly all throughout pre-patch Arcade Edition's lifespan because of the stats, but also those characters were, of course, undeniably way too overpowered. You could mess around with them and see that they were a little too strong, whether it be the damage or just how their moves worked in general. But where they are now, they're in fair standing. I do think that you should I think that you should play these characters despite the tier listings. And it kind of does annoy me that tier listings are taken way too seriously, despite the fact that, you know, they base them upon experts, quote unquote, of these characters and matchups. And the truth is that while it's true to some degree, it pretty much dumbs down to the battle designers' decisions and choices and the balancing of the games, mainly in the Capcom games. But if you play KOF 13, no. I've messed around with all those characters, and not one of them seems weak to me. Every one of them I thought was weak, I've seen other people play and have done outstanding and very well with them, and have proven me wrong. So it's not about whether or not you decide to learn with video tutorials / social media, and as opposed to self-experience. It's about whether or not you want to put in the work and actually be good, because you can watch all those tutorials and everything and do all your research, but that doesn't guarantee you the win in any tournament. So who's the real stupid person here? Personally, I don't think I need to say anything else, because it pretty much speaks for himself. Hey, let's take a look at what Mr. Fury92 Returns post on his video, since he seems to be the fighting game expert around here. Let's see. Oh yeah, look at that. He has a bunch of fucking AMVs. Surprise, surprise. A bunch of AMVs. Things that, look, for those people that make AMVs out there, I'll be honest, I don't really care for AMVs. I consider them the trash of the internet, aside from all the needless, furry, and disturbing types of hentai and porn out there. Because they have a habit of showing up in the search results more than they need to, and there never seem to be any of them that are good. There are some good ones out there, but they're not necessary. And plus, this guy has no fucking matches of himself. It makes no sense for you to try and criticize people for wanting to learn from those that we've seen are good. According to your logic, we should just, oh, no video tutorials for you, just figure out everything for yourself. Recently, I learned how to solder electronic circuitry to a circuit board to fix my arcade stick from malfunctioning. Are you saying that because I didn't know how to do that beforehand, that I should just fuck it up in the process of me doing so? By that logic, no one would ever really go on YouTube outside of entertainment. You know how many people in college right now will listen to the stupid shit that you've said and want to beat the shit out of you because of how nonsensical it is? That is powerful fucking stupid logic, sir. There's a person named Shintro who's made Dudley videos, but I don't see this guy topping in tournaments, and I don't expect him to, because I don't think that was his intentional goal when he made those tutorials in the first place. They were helpful to me, even though I learned a lot from Dudley in my personal experience in Street Fighter 4. But it doesn't guarantee anything. You still have to work at things, and you still have to work at the mind game aspect of fighting games. So the fact that you're just sitting there making these statements as if, oh man, because social networking and media makes it so much more accessible, it kills the experience. I beg to differ. And if you think I'm wrong, prove me wrong. And that goes for the rest of you that seem to agree with him. Because I don't see it. Fighting Gentleman, signing out.